So one of the workplace strategies that we have in place now is a workplace identity called Work Your Way. It's a program that was created by my team. It's really looking at how do we leverage our workplace smarter. So we don't focus so much on the word reduction, we focus really on the word effectiveness. But we believe Work Your Way is an invest to save strategy, really trying to look at how do we optimize our current spaces by providing more of the work settings that people actually use and less of the spaces that people do not. The result of that could be just a more efficient real estate asset performing for you around the world. Culture is very unique to Red Hat. I know most companies are saying that now. I've worked in corporate real estate for probably 22 years. It probably wasn't until I joined Red Hat that I truly understood that culture could be a differentiator in how you attract and retain talent. So I would say for Red Hat, the workplace is a vital tool, no different than a calculator that really enables our associates to perform their best. If that is unbalanced with the culture, I think ultimately what it creates is maybe a misalignment with the business objectives, potentially misalignment with what our associates expect in terms of enabling resources that really allow them to do their best work. I think the workplace has evolved quite a bit over the last probably 5 to 7 years. It used to be seen as a place of shelter. Now it is really seen as a resource that attracts people in, creates different amenities and tools that allow them to do something in the office that maybe they can't achieve working at home or somewhere else. But I think culture is certainly probably the thing that we think about most as we're creating our workplace. The disconnect, I think, stems from when you're striving too hard towards maybe efficiency and not as much towards effectiveness. We work for the CFO's organization, and we're a publicly traded company, so we have to constantly balance how do we manage a real estate portfolio responsibly, but at the same time, really provide a workplace that activates the best in our employees. The human capital is by far the most important asset for us. It's interesting. I mean, the term open office has been around a long time. I think it's maybe been given a bad rap. If you think back traditionally in the workplace, the closed office, I think that was proven that was a bit flawed. It really didn't spark collaboration or opportunity for people to connect on a more personal level, to maybe draw out the creativity that people are thinking about. Creativity does not happen at the desk, it happens everywhere else. I think the industry, the pendulum swung in the industry where everyone was striving for that open workplace to really spark that creativity and that collaboration. I think for many years where the industry maybe missed the mark it was too open, and right now, for the last several years you've heard people talk about activity-based working. What I refer to it as at Red Hat is just a balanced workplace that really tries to provide the right mix of settings that adapt to everyone, whether it be an individual that needs privacy space or focus space, whether it be that team that needs open collaborative space, project rooms that really allow them to do their best work in those settings, and then also thinking about all of the different other elements of behaviors, whether it's the neurodiversity camp, thinking about how do we provide spaces that are really mindful of the individuality in our associates. So I would just refer to it as a balanced office. I wouldn't call it open. I wouldn't say closed is the way to go either. I think if, based on your culture and based on what makes your company tick, it could be slightly more open, it could be slightly more closed. I think the secret sauce is how do you uncover those nuggets to really deliver the most effective space. So this is my second summer session. First one I attended was about 3 years ago. I believe it was in LA. Might have been one of the first iterations for future offices. And What I loved about that, and what's brought me back to Future Offices a number of times, was it was a bit more intimate. I got to interact with a lot of industry peers on the end user side, so I'm not a service provider. I enjoy those conversations. I look forward to hearing what's available, what's trending in the market through those services, but it's really helpful sometimes for me to sit across the table from peers that are going through some of the same challenges or opportunities that I'm up against at Red Hat. So having those peer-to-peer conversations, I would say, is what I probably am attracted to most at these sessions. I think in terms of, in terms of what keeps bringing me back as a member of the advisory board for Future Offices, it's the opportunity to really connect with my peers. I think, looking at across the room at all of the end users, it gives me a soundboard sometimes to bounce ideas or opportunities off of them to really leverage best practices, lessons learned. What I love about this community is people are really open about what's worked and what hasn't worked. And listening to some of the speakers today, there's some authenticity in their message. I hear people talk about, here are the things that we did really well, and at the end of the day, the project still failed. And to hear that and to hear why, it really helps me. It really forces me to kind of think about how important our culture is, how important it is for us to deliver the right strategies that are relevant to our company, and just hearing what others are going through in the industry is a real value to me. So this will be, I think, my fourth Future Offices event. Been on the advisory board now for 3 years, and just enjoy the peer-to-peer interaction and getting to know some of the service providers in the industry as well, and what's trending, what's here to stay, and maybe what's a fad. There's a lot of great opinions and great minds that attend these conferences, so I would say that's what I probably look forward to most.